Madam Clerk, may we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Rick Mueller,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Rachel Gray,
Present.
Councilmember William Benning,
Present.
Councilmember Gregory Johnson,
Present.
Councilmember Angelica Landry,
Present.
Councilmember Mark Rodriguez,
Present.
Councilmember Carolyn Humphrey.
Present.
Mr. Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Adams. Before we go on to the invocation of the pledge, I just want to mention that we have two council members traveling, and we have another one that has a had a medical procedure. We do, in fact, have a quorum with just four, but because it's important tonight with the budget, I felt it was important to make sure we had telephone contact so they can vote and comment over the air. And this is something we did during the COVID period, and since we have the capability to do it, part of the meeting will be obviously electronic or tele-electronic or whatever the proper phrase is. So next we'll go, I would ask you to stand as Mr. Johnson leads us in the invocation, and the pledge is led by Mayor Pro Tem Gray.
Please bow our heads in prayer. Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, blessing, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion and allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of community. Give us your grace that we may effectively do our part as public servants. Bless our plans, programs, and projects so that we may achieve our objectives for good. Also bless our dedicated city staff and department heads who work tirelessly to serve the community in the many capacities they are tasked to do. Also bless and protect our first responders, police, fire, and EMTs as they work to keep us safe. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Please join me in the pledge to our flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. And thank you, Mr. Johnson, and thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Gray. We now move to item 1, acceptance of the agenda. Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the agenda for today's regular City Council meeting of June 23rd, 2022 be approved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any corrections to the agenda?
Get my apartment all set up, and when I was working with Miranda,
Can't hear her.
I had given him a key to my apartment so that he could help carry stuff in.
Okay.
He actually set up my
Somebody's not
I have a
muted.
three-bedroom apartment.
Somebody needs to go to
Set
mute.
up my
Councilmember
one-bedroom. I
Landry?
can go keep, my whole assisted closet.
No, somebody,
Anyway,
are you
it's not-
have a
it's not
background?
in.
I can hear people speaking.
No, I have it muted.
Okay.
Okay,
There it goes.
I'll call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous. Thank you very much. We now go on to awards and presentations. We have 2 awards. First, I would ask Mrs. Downing and Ms. Lee to meet me out front. They will be receiving some awards for the contract for their being certified prominent professional certification for the National Institute of Government Purchasing. I just wanted to take a couple of minutes tonight to recognize these 2 ladies. They do a great job in our purchasing department. They're the ones that really pinch the pennies, if you will, and they've gone through a long process of being certified. The National Institute of Governmental Purchasing. This is the only certification that specifically targets the mid to executive level procurement in the public sector. So that's an achievement there. This is the only certification that integrates the National Institute of Governmental purchasing 7 complementary areas of focus: strategy, policy, legislation, planning, analysis, contract administration, sourcing and solicitation, leadership, and business principles. So congratulations. We're very lucky to have 2 that have completed this process. And it's with great pleasure I'm able to award your certificates, if I can get them. Ellen, congratulations. Congratulations to you too. Thank you. Either one of you ladies want to say anything?
I always want to say something. Well, this is my actually 30.
You need to look. How famous you're on TV.
This is actually my 34th year in public government procurement, and I'm actually been here at the City of Sierra Vista for a year and a half. And I'm almost embarrassed to say I never got certified until I was encouraged by Victoria Yarborough. So I wanted to thank her and Chuck for encouraging me to get certification. And I'm just so proud of Helen because she's only been in the procurement field for, what, about 7 years? 6 years.
Yeah, but she's a pretty smart cookie.
She's a very smart cookie, and I just wanted to say thank you to all of the city officials, mayor and council, Chuck and Victoria, and I'm so proud of Helen to be up here with her to let everyone know that, yes, she is a certified procurement professional, and she knows her job very well.
All right, congratulations again. Next up, we have a proclamation for Parks and Rec. Sure, you can have your commission members come up or anybody else you want to. We've got almost the whole commission here. All right. We got a quorum, so I don't know if that's an open meeting law or not. But
It's
oh,
posted.
you do? Okay. Come on around, guys. Everybody we pretend like we like each other. It's my honor and privilege as mayor of the city of Sierra Vista to offer the following proclamation on behalf of the good citizens of Sierra Vista. Whereas parks and recreation programs and well-maintained open spaces and facilities are an integral part of communities throughout the country and provide physical and mental well-being while enhancing the quality of life for our citizens. And whereas parks and recreation activities such as out-of-school programming, I don't know if that's supposed to be after-school programming, but out-of-school is what it says. Okay, well, I'm out of school and programs, okay. Special events, sports and aquatics, museum and library services, the outreach activities are critical for connecting with and promoting vibrant, healthy, and proud communities. And whereas parks and recreation is essential and adaptable infrastructure that makes our communities resilient in the face of natural disasters. And whereas the U.S. House of Representatives have designated July as Parks and Recreation Month. Now therefore be resolved that I, Frederick W. Mueller, Mayor of the City of Sierra Vista, Arizona, do hereby proclaim July 2022 as Parks and Rec Month in and for the City of Sierra Vista. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the great seal of the City of Sierra Vista to be affixed. This is the 23rd day of June, the year of our Lord 2022, and independence of the United States of America, 245th. Signed, Frederick W. Mueller, Mayor. And you get this, or do I give it to the chair?
She does all the work.
Oh, she does all the hard work. We know that. And we appreciate all you guys being here and all the support you put in to our facilities and our programs. And you have a chance to talk.
I just want to say thank you so much to the mayor for this wonderful proclamation. We're very proud of Parks and Recreation in our community. We love that July is going to be known as Parks and Recreation Month here in Sierra Vista. Encourage the community to look online in your vistas, on our website, and look at all the wonderful activities that are on the calendar for next month. And I hope to see you out there. So thank you.
Thank you. Next be followed by the city manager's report. Mr. Patuchik.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Mueller. Members of the council, your next regularly scheduled work session is scheduled for Tuesday, July 12th, 3 p.m. here in the council chambers. And then, of course, your next council meeting is scheduled for the 14th, 5 p.m., also here in the council chambers. In between now and then, of course, we have the July 4th holiday, and we're very much looking forward to that. City offices will be closed in observance of Independence Day, and of course that means our refuse schedule will move Mondays to Tuesday, and then the Tuesday pickups to Wednesday with no special pickups that week. A number of items here to report to you tonight. First, our Animal Control Improvement and Expansion Project, Design Engineering Services and Construction Manager at Risk Project was kicked off on June 8th, and we expect design to be finished next spring in the April to June timeframe. Your Sears Center parking lot community development block grant funded project is complete, and we're completing the paperwork on that. The bid for the Avenida Escuela Extension Charleston Road replacement, that project looks to be completed by August of this year, and Charleston is scheduled to reopen June 24th, but of course there'll be an overlay after that, so we should have traffic back on that road here soon. The Garden Avenue Improvements Design Project, Fried to Buffalo Soldier Trail, those design services are underway with completion scheduled for December of this year. As I mentioned Tuesday, Fort Huachuca was successful in getting $2.8 million in REPI Challenge funds through the federal government, and the majority of that will go towards the completion of the Bella Vista Wash Project, which is very important given our memorandum of understanding with the Bureau of Land Management, Cochise County, and Fort Huachuca, and that will provide for near stream recharge there and hopefully help base flows in the river to the north of the Environmental Operations Park. So we're very pleased about that, and we're looking forward to potentially more funds coming in through the fort for various projects along those lines. And finally, as I mentioned Tuesday, we had a very successful bid offering for the financing of the Schneider Electric project. We received 6 bids for that, and I want to thank the council initially because you went ahead and approved us to move forward on the financing, and we would not have been able to move as quickly on this to lock in the rates that we received. The successful bidder was J.P. Morgan Chase, and we received a bid of 3.15% on $24 million in bonds, on that particular project. So that lowered our estimated debt service down to the $1.8 million range, which was certainly less than we originally had projected. So very good. The term for that is 17 years, and it's non-callable. But again, shows the strength of the city's financial position to be able to receive money at that interest rate in the current environment. And that's all I have tonight. Thank you, Mayor Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Patuchik. Any questions for Mr. Patuchik on his report? Yes, ma'am.
I'm sure this isn't there, but I'm just a curious question that there's no prepayment penalty on that, right?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely not. Thank you.
Any questions for the folks on the phone?
Hey, Mr. Mayor. No questions. Thank you.
Okay.
No question.
We'll now move on to item 2, the consent agenda. Ms. Humphrey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the consent agenda consisting of the regular city council meeting minutes of June 9th, 2022, and resolution 2022-037 pre-annexation agreement number 106-71-331 at 313 North 6th Place be approved.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Any comments, questions, discussion?
I have none.
Hearing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? None? So, the motion carries. It's unanimous. Thank you very much. We now go to two public hearing items that do not require votes. So, Mr. McLaughlin, if you would proceed with item number 3, we'd appreciate it.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, this is an opportunity for the public to weigh in on our draft annual action plan for the upcoming program year, which is essentially our funding application to HUD for community development block grant funds. The draft was first made available on our website on June 8th, and the public comment period runs through July 8th. Any changes that are requested will be incorporated into the final draft scheduled for your consideration on July 14th. It was announced earlier this month that we are expected to receive $252,172, which is 1% less than last year's amount. Historically, as you know, the bulk of community development block grant funds have been spent on upgrading and expanding public facilities and infrastructure in low to moderate income neighborhoods, and we're proposing to continue that focus in the proposed plan. Our recommendation is to allocate $227,172 towards upgrading the upper portion of Soldier Creek Park as a follow-on project to the shared use pathways that were recently installed. The timing of these improvements should coincide with the renovation of streetscape along North Garden to further our West End revitalization efforts. Our internal cost estimates for the project includes $120,000 for an embankment slide and associated site work, $50,000 to establish utilities, $47,000 for landscaping irrigation to include trees, plants, a grassy area, and rock, and $10,000 for pathway lighting and benches. The scope will be reviewed and refined with input from the West End Parks and Recreation Commissions. We're further recommending that $25,000 in next year's grant go towards the emergency home repair program that we relaunched this year. That'll put us 3/4 of the way towards the $100,000 target in our 5-year consolidated plan. With respect to outside agency requests, the application for parking lot lights at the Dream Center has been withdrawn. We are now in the process of pursuing a FTA grant for the upcoming grant cycle to install sidewalks and streetlights along the east side of Taylor Drive between Sears Center and Nelson Drive to improve safety there. And staff is recommending using the third allocation of CARES Act funding, which wasn't anticipated when we began this process, to address public service needs in the community. And that will be covered with the next item on the agenda. As you mentioned, no action is required other than conducting the public hearing. And with that, I'll answer any questions.
Before we go to Matt for questions, I want to open it up to the public. Is there anyone here that wants to address us on this issue tonight? Not seeing anyone, I'll close it to the public. Anybody from the council have comments or questions? On the phone, comments or questions?
No, sir.
Okay. So that will conclude item number 3, Matt, unless you have any concluding remarks. And then we'll move on to item number 4. Mr. McLaughlin.
Okay, so under consideration today are substantial amendments to the 5-year consolidated plan and 2019 annual action plan to incorporate the third allocation of CARES Act funds, which we were notified of our eligibility on June 2nd based on our performance in carrying out the first 2 allocations. The $77,209 award brings the total CARES Act funding issued by HUD to $476,457. CV funds need to be under the same grant, which again is why we're amending the 2019 annual action plan. The extent of the amendments essentially cover the process we went through to assign the funds, the goal that we're assigning them to, and the expected beneficiaries. We're proposing to add the third allocation to Goal 3, which is the provision of needed services. The project name is Emergency Crisis Fund. The description includes all the activities that we've previously carried out through the first 2 rounds. We did add community outreach to cover the monthly Community Connect one-stop resource event at the Ethel Berger Center, which could serve as a conduit for reaching people in need. We are taking a pause to take another look at the proposal we presented on Tuesday regarding the specific uses of the funds and how they are administered to maximize their benefit. This can run on a separate track and is not tied to the amendments under consideration this evening. At this time, it appears to be a general consensus on keeping the focus on rental and utility assistance, the issuance of hotel and motel vouchers, and funding again to continue with the Community Connect event at the Ethel Berger Center. We'll continue to consult with our nonprofit partners to ensure the funding priorities are aligned with the critical needs in the community. In fact, CEGO has impaneled a subcommittee of the Continuum of Care to begin formulating a strategic plan on ending chronic homelessness. That meeting will take place here at City Hall next Tuesday morning. We do hope to have the grant agreement in place by late August so we can start distributing the funds in September. And the public comment period on this item is running concurrent with the 2022 annual action plan. And so we hope to have the final draft scheduled for your consideration on July 14th. Again, the plan amendments describe the nature of the proposed use of the funds being applied towards the Emergency Crisis Fund to mitigate the impacts of the pandemic. And with that, I'll answer any questions.
Okay, again, this is a public comment period, so if there's anybody here tonight that would like to comment on this, seeing none, Matt, I would ask you to let the public know where they can find out the specific, where and how they can find out the specific details and how they provide you additional comments if they need to do that.
The city website under public hearing items has the document posted. Of course, they could contact me through my email address or by phone to speak through any comments or issues they would like to submit.
Okay. I'll close the meeting to the public. The comments to council, questions, discussion?
Well,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, this third allocation of $77,000 was not expected.
That's right.
So we've been very, very fortunate that staff, when we got the original CBDG funds, that they were spent rapidly, they were spent wisely, and therefore we received what others didn't really react to. So congratulations to Matt and
I think it's important to mention that is the additional funds are unspent funds that other communities were not able to appropriate properly. And so we get a little bit of a bonus, which is great.
Yep.
And you're right, it's credit to our great staff that allowed that to happen.
Yep.
Okay. Any comments on the phone? Okay. Hearing none, we'll go to new business. Item number 5, Mrs. Yarborough, Mrs. Gray.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that Resolution 2022-038, tentative budget for fiscal year 2022-2023 be approved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mrs. Yarborough, may we have your staff report, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. This resolution is one of the final steps in your budget process this year, and so it would adopt your fiscal year 2022-2023 tentative budget in the amount of $204,417,694 and will cap your annual budget at that amount. The final budget amount can be less than or equal to the tentative budget, but it may not exceed it. The next and final steps in your budget process after tonight would be July 28th, your resolution to approve the final budget, and your public hearing on property tax, and August 11th would conclude your budget process for the year with your resolution to adopt the property tax levy. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Mrs. Yarborough? Anybody on the phone, questions?
No, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Just a comment. I'm ready for comment.
Yeah, you can give me questions, comments, I don't care which.
Okay.
You take your turn.
Yes, sir. I just want to reiterate appreciation to Victoria, to Jen, and to all the staff for the hard work. As I mentioned earlier, it's almost harder when you have more funds to deal with to decide where they're going to go and how to allocate them. And I think y'all have done an amazing job at balancing everyone's needs and wants. So I appreciate it and thank you for that.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Gray.
Anything else? Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed?
Aye.
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 It's unanimous. Thank you very much. We'll now move on to item number 6, Mr. Johnson.
Oh, this is going to be a long one. Mr. Mayor, I move that resolution
Pace yourself.
2022-039, pre-annexation agreement for assessor's parcel number 10756-002 Lima and 107-56-002S. Resolution 2022-040, pre-annexation agreement for assessor's parcel number 10756-013B. Resolution 2022-041, pre-annexation agreement for assessor's parcel number 10756-003F. Resolution 2022-042, pre-annexation agreement for assessor's parcel number 107-56-003G. Resolution 2022-043, pre-annexation agreement for assessor's parcel number 10756-004 and 10756-003H. Resolution 2022-044, pre-annexation agreement for assessor's parcel number 107-56-003C. Resolution 2022-045, pre-annexation agreement for assessor's parcel number 10756-003D. Resolution 2022-046, pre-annexation agreement for assessor's parcel number 107-56-008. And finally, I think there's more. Okay, Resolution 2022-047, pre-annexation agreement for assessor's parcel number 10756-002F. And Resolution 2022-048, pre-annexation agreement for assessor's parcel number 107-56-477 be approved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. And I got a note that Blake was smiling while you were reading all that. And
Anybody
Mr.
have an
McLaughlin, you
inhaler?
gonna brief us on this?
This item is more exciting than it sounds, and Chuck mentioned this is probably the largest commercial batch of pre-annexation agreements pertaining to commercial property that the city's ever done at one time. So there's a lot of enthusiasm and community development over what we've been able to accomplish over the last 10 months. So we are seeking the acceptance of 10 pre-annexation agreements that we were able to secure in the commercial area south of Golden Acres Drive, east of State Route 92. The agreements are concentrated primarily in the vicinity of the sewer line extension serving the Veritas Christian Community School. And Blake has been on point communicating with connecting with the property owners to survey their interest and communicate the benefits of joining the city. Property tax savings and the ability to connect to public sewer were the leading reasons for signing the agreements. The agreements essentially authorize the city clerk to execute all annexation documents should you vote to proceed with the annexation process. It's important to note that the agreements contain our standard terms and conditions and do not include any special incentives. The properties are included on the city's long-term annexation map and are consistent with the city's annexation policy. Staff is recommending approval of this item, which will authorize the mayor to execute the agreements for recording purposes. And with that, I'll answer any questions.
Folks on the phone, do you have questions for Matt?
No, sir.
No questions. I feel like the discussion session covered pretty well.
Comments or questions from the dais? Yes, sir.
What will be the tax benefit to the city once these pre-annexation agreements are completed?
Well, that would more pertain to the next. So this is the acceptance of the pre-annexation agreement, and then if we follow through with the annexation area outlined on the next agenda item, most of the benefits that will be realized will be derived from sales taxes from the retail businesses operating in the area.
Okay.
And I'd be glad to point those out.
And that's the thing we need to be aware of. This is really the first step of the process. We accept the annexation agreements.
Right.
So we say we agree to allow these people to come in. The next step is what we're going to vote on next.
Right.
Which basically says we're going to start the annexation process. And when we get to that, I know you'll go through all the bullets in there on all the next steps. So we're not done tonight. We're just starting tonight.
The territory is broader than just the agreements
Exactly.
that are under consideration with this item.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? On the phone?
Aye.
Did I hear William there?
Yes.
Okay. So it's unanimous. Thank you very much. We now move on to item number 16, Ms. Humphrey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that Resolution 2022-049, authorization to proceed with the collecting of signatures for South City annexation area consisting of 19 commercially zoned tax parcels be approved.
Do I have a second?
Yeah.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mr. McLaughlin, may we have the staff report, please?
Absolutely. Mr. Mayor, members of council, so the area that you see in crosshatch on the overhead is the proposed boundary for the annexation that we could accomplish through the 10 agreements that we have in hand. It was delineated to conform with annexation statutes for contiguity and compactness and provide the most strategic economic value. The proposed area covers approximately 67 acres of commercial property. That includes the old and new Circle K, AutoZone, U-Haul mini storage, along with a few retail strip centers fronting 92 south of Golden Acres. We do have agreements that you just approved for 10 of the 19 parcels in the proposed boundary, which will exceed the 50% threshold that's prerequisite for annexation with respect to ownership and taxable values. To clarify the impact on tax revenue, the property owners will save just under $59,000 in property taxes, which will yield just under $1,700 in additional city property taxes. The $167,000 I quoted you on Tuesday was the total of all property taxes that would be paid to all districts in the county, down from the $226,000 that they currently pay. We're not able to specifically project the increase in sales tax revenue as that information is not publicly available, but we are anticipating a substantial increase from the businesses operating in the area. The proposed South City annexation area is included on the long-term annexation map. And at this time, we're seeking your concurrence to proceed with the formal annexation process. If you do decide to proceed, the next step will be filing a blank petition and holding a public hearing soon thereafter, which we anticipate to be in the late July, early August timeframe. And at that time, we'll provide a detailed report and analysis on our ability to provide public services within that area, which is a requirement of the annexation. Having the pre-annexation agreements in place will allow us to complete the annexation in relatively short order. In fact, we've already heard today from the Department of Revenue on the valuations of proof of ownership in the annexation area. They had 60 days to respond. They got back to us within a week. So that's going to be able to allow us to accelerate the process and get this thing rolling potentially at your second meeting in July. So with that, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Questions for Mr. McLaughlin?
No, sir.
Just on the Big O annexation, we did have their projected sales tax revenue, and that was anticipated to yield over $30,000 a year just from that individual use, to give you a sense of perspective on how valuable commercial annexations can be from a sales tax perspective.
Just have a comment.
Yes, ma'am.
Just say thank you to Blake. I know this was a big win for you as well, and to your leadership, Matt, and community development. This is way more exciting than it sounds in general. And I think it's fantastic when we can start incorporating like these areas like this and make them a formal part of our city. So I appreciate your hard work on that.
Okay. Anybody else? I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you very much. And thank you, Matt. Thank you, Blake, for all the hard work to get this started. And we obviously still got a little work to go. Next, I'm going to open up the meeting to call to the public. I've had nobody request to speak tonight. Is there anybody in the public that would like to address the council? Seeing none, I'll close the meeting to the public. We now move to comments and requests of council. And tonight we'll start with Ms. Humphrey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to encourage everyone to celebrate Parks and Rec Month, and you can do that tomorrow. It shouldn't rain. It shouldn't be raining tomorrow night for our last Movies in the Park at Veterans Memorial. The movie starts around 7-ish, and it's going to be Encanto, which is extremely popular. If you have kids, you've probably heard the soundtrack at least once. It's really catchy. And I also want to congratulate Kenny Downing and Helen Lee for earning their certified procurement certificates. That's great. And a happy 4th of July, since I'm not going to see anybody. We won't be here doing this again till then. Thank you.
Okay. Next up is Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple of comments. We have an upcoming Independence Day on the 4th of July. There's always great activities at Veterans Park, thanks to Parks and Rec, and they always do a great job. It's always fun to be out there. And then we've got the fireworks that are done by the Rotary at 8 p.m. So just everybody be safe and enjoy their Independence Day. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate it. Sorry I couldn't be there today. I just want to congratulate the two ladies on getting their purchasing certificates. That's awesome. Thank you for doing that and taking the initiative to further your learning. I also want to thank Officer Daryl Scott. I saw him stop the other day and pick up a big piece of trash in the road. A motorcyclist or a small car could have easily hit that, and it could have been a big deal. So thank you. I know the job descriptions are very broad when it comes to our police officers in our city, but I'm thankful that they do things like that, take time out of the day to clean up a big piece of trash out of the road to keep our roads safe. I also want to congratulate the Parks and Rec for their month of July. It's fitting for our awesome 4th of July ceremony we're about to have, and I hope to see everybody there. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Dr. Landry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate being able to still participate. I'm thankful for the technology that's out there to do that. I wanted to let everybody know that the Cochise Amateur Radio Association is having their annual field day activity this weekend. This group is very heavily involved in the community, and many of the members even also offer communication support for search and rescue and other public service events. So during their field day exercise, the public is able to have a chance to see what this group is all about. This will happen at their club site that's at Green Acres on Mosen Road. If you go down Mosen Road, you'll see it's got a big old, you'll be able to tell. Starting Saturday 25th at 11 a.m. and it goes through Sunday the 26th at 2 p.m. I went out there last year and I learned a lot, so I definitely encourage anybody that can to get out there. It's a really great group of people, and they do a lot of good things for the community. And then also for everyone to have a safe 4th of July. Be mindful of your neighbors. You don't know, if your surrounding neighbors maybe have PTSD or if there's any pets around, that maybe would be that might not be a good idea to set off your own fireworks. But there's a lot of great things happening in the community that day at the park and the fireworks display. So I definitely recommend, enjoying those. And instead of setting off your own fireworks, maybe start a new tradition of donating some money to the animal shelter instead, or helping those in the community. But just be safe out there, and thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Landry. Mr. Benning.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm gonna keep it brief since I'm away. First, I want to thank Jill and her team, and then the IT team, like everyone else said, for giving us an opportunity to be there when we can't be there, and vote on such an important thing like our next fiscal year budget. Parks and Rec Month, it's amazing, coming up all of July. We appreciate the proclamation, and I want to thank all my commission members that were able to join us tonight. Y'all much appreciated. We can't do nothing without y'all, and of course, Laura Wilson and her staff. I want to say that the Little League, the Sierra Vista Little League and the Sierra Vista Ponytails are hosting this year's tournament, district tournaments. They're going to start this weekend at Domingo de Paez and what's the other field? Let me think. At Stone Complex. So if you get a chance to go out there and support both Sierra Vista Little League and the Ponytail League, it's much appreciated. I also want to say that our first public comment period for Roadrunner Park went well. We had about 30 individuals show up and do surveys and put information out. Our next one's on the 25th. If anyone wants to go out there, I won't be able to, but I know Mark went to the last one, and of course Laura, her staff was out there. So if anybody wants to go out there and join them, it was a good time and good opinions. Other than that, Mr. Mayor, I appreciate it. Thank you, Councilman Johnson, for blessing us tonight, and God bless.
Okay, thank you. The meeting is on the 25th. Where and when?
It is going to be at the Garden Canyon Linear Park from 9 to 11.
9 to 11, Garden Canyon Linear Park on the 25th. Open to the public. Please share your comments so we can make a great park for that end of town. Okay. Ms. Gray.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to thank Melanie from the Chamber for being here and announce that on the 12th of July, there's a Good Morning Sierra Vista, and I believe the speaker will be someone from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and I believe the doors open at 7, and the program starts at 7:30, so I will be there at 7:29. And so also, the last I read, the state budget had passed about 4 o'clock this morning, and waiting for the governor's signature, the House and the Senate. And I just want to say there is some good news for our area in the transportation funding, with the 10.6 for State Route 90 and another 44 million that's in this year's budget. We're going to get State Route 90 from Mosen all the way up and over up to the Border Patrol Station will be rehabilitated and repaved. So that's good news for our area. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. I thought they were going to split that up in a couple of years, but we'll see what happens. I do have a couple things. Concert in the park tonight. Hopefully we don't have lightning. I think that's the only thing that shut it down, but concert in the park tonight. I had a meeting today with the folks for Sonora Fest, and that is back on this year. It looks like it's going to be 9 and 10 June in the mall each day. It starts at 10 o'clock. July. Excuse me. July. I'm a month behind already.
Yeah, I'm doing it happens.
Okay, so July 9 and 10, Sierra Vista Mall starts at 10 o'clock both Saturday and Sunday. I want to talk a little bit about 4th of July. We're very appreciative of the fact that the 4th of July is run by the Sierra Vista Rotary Club, and they're the agent for that activity. We also have the Kiwanis Club on the 3rd. Will have their concert in the park as well, and of course all the vendors will be there the day before as well as on the 4th of July. So it should be a great event. I'm a little concerned about some of the safety issues. You know, we do have a almost completed bridge north of Kmart. If people attempt to cross there, they'll be going through the blast area for the fireworks. So it's not a smart thing to do. So please follow the directions of the people that will be posted there to make sure that we don't have folks going in there. But other than that, it should be a great weekend. And as always, before we have long weekends, we know we have people traveling. Take your time while you're traveling. Don't get overtired. Watch out for the other guy. We will have a police detail out, a DWI detail out, so please don't drink and drive. Make sure you get home safe so that your whole family can celebrate the 4th of July with you. Seeing nothing else before the council, meeting's adjourned. Thank you.